Do you know when I was homeless, I told God every day, if you let me make it, when I get there, I'm going to tell everybody it was you. Well, guess what? I'm telling you that it was him. I have no education. I ain't got a degree of any kind. What you see today is a boy that come out the bottom, who believed in him when it wasn't no sign of me getting over, who kept doing this thing that his mother taught. She said, when it gets dark for you and you can't find your way, and boy, I was lost. She said, don't forget to pray. Don't be ashamed to pray. And don't ever be too proud to pray, because prayer changes things. You have got to pray. I became very aware of what it's like not to have a home. You know, a home, man, is important, no matter how small it is, no matter how bare or meager. At the end of the day, you have the right to be able to say, I'm going home. And I don't care how funky of a day you had, man, if I could just get to my house, I don't care what it looked like. I don't care what the furniture looked like in there, but man, if I could just turn the key and shut the door and be in my house, that's just a moment of relief. I didn't have that. I wouldn't gotten me. Your car's not a home. There ain't no moving around. Once you get in the front seat, you're pretty much there. It was very, very difficult, man, but it put a determination in me too, because I was determined. I was determined to be something. And my dreams of being a TV personality was bigger than, I was homeless, man. I mean, you're in a position where you're going, I got nowhere to go except up. I might as well keep hustling. I was in comedy. I just wasn't making nothing. All the money I was making, I was sending back home to my wife and kids. That didn't last long. She got tired of that real fast. But I couldn't go back to Cleveland because I wouldn't have enough money to drive back down south to perform. One time I drove to the house in Cleveland. I finally got enough money. I drove to the house in Cleveland and everybody was gone. I didn't see my kids for almost 2 years. I ain't see her, nothing. They just left, boarded up the house. So next thing you know, I'm in the car. I lived there, but it taught me determination, man. I'm a really, really determined person. It also taught me that no matter what happens to you, it ain't over. As long as God wakes you up, that means he ain't through with you yet. And if he wakes you up, you got a shot to correct it and get it right. And he kept waking me up. So I figured, okay, God wakes you up. That also means that he has something for you that you've yet to receive. So as long as he was waking me up, I figured what else? He can't take nothing else from me. I ain't got nowhere to stay. So I just kept asking. It drew me closer to it because I had nothing else. He had to take everything from me to get my undivided attention. So he did it. He took it, stripped me down. I needed to pay attention to him. I had to remember what my mama taught me as a Sunday school teacher. So he took everything from me. And I had nothing but him. So I just talked to him all the time. I got real strong in that car. I learned a lot of stuff in that car. I think humility was a thing that I learned. Come from nothing. What we want to know is how you got to where you are after coming from nothing. How did you live in a car for 3 years and wind up on more TV shows than anybody? How did you survive flunking out of school? How did you survive all of that? We want to know that, because in case something happens to us, we don't really have the information that you have, or how to come from the back to the front, or how to come from the bottom to the top. So I get asked oftentimes to speak. What I told them was really compelling, because they almost had to never hear it, because they never had to learn it. See, if you've never been in the bottom, there's some stuff you ain't never had to know. But all of you that have been in the bottom, you know it oh too well, don't you? And so when I was telling them how I made it, I was telling them about the fortitude that I developed. And then I told them about the faith that I had. And that was really startling to them. Now, a lot of them are people of faith. But a lot of people who were born with a lot of money ain't really had to have a lot of faith. You understand? You have an idea of what it feels like. You've seen some kids get put in foster care. You've seen child protective services come to somebody's house. You've seen kids come to school with less. You might have been one of the kids that went to school with less. You have struggled to give your kids a better life than the one you had. They don't hear this. But I'm going to tell you something right now. You can be successful without an education. You can be successful without coming from a rich family. You can be successful. I don't care what color you are, what faith you belong to. I don't care what's wrong with you. You can be successful. You have got to tie your existence to your Creator. If you don't tie who you are to God, I got news for you. You're going to forever struggle. Now, this is what I'm telling you is something you can do today. You ain't got to go to school to get this. You ain't got to have no meeting with nobody. I'm telling you that if you solidify a relationship with God, you ain't got to ask nobody's permission. You ain't got to check in. He ain't got no line. You can go and form this relationship today, this evening, when you get home. You can shortcut this. I ain't got no education. I flunked out of school. I'm on my third marriage. I lost everything I ever owned twice. I had a severe stuttering problem growing up. I've been picked and teased my whole life. I've been homeless and lived in a car for 3 years. What you finna tell me that I don't know about it? I will tell you what God can do. He can do anything. God can pick you up when you're at your lowest moment. God can take your existence and turn it around. Now listen to me. I ain't no preacher. I'm a street cat. But I got news for you. That's all you got to be. Because you know why? Because there's none perfect. No, not one. There are no perfect people. God got you some kind of way. Now the jumping requires faith. Now what is faith? Faith is a belief in things that you cannot see. If you can see everything, that ain't faith. You got to believe in something you can't see. Look, man, when I started in comedy, I did not see this. I didn't see becoming the first African American to host a beauty pageant of any kind. I was the first black headliner to start black radio nights around the country. I done had a machete in my hand on a lot of stuff. I didn't see any of it. But I had this little piece of faith that if I jumped, he would get me. Because I was miserable in my life. I didn't like waking up. I ain't have no purpose. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. But on October 8th, 1985, I walked in a comedy club for the first time. Signed up for the following week. The following week, a girl took me down there. She said, "You got to go to comedy club. You're the funniest person I've ever met." I never even heard of comedy clubs. I'm 27. I walked in the comedy club. I signed up for the following week. I'm going to sit here and learn. I knew I was funny. I just didn't know what to do with it. They had 10 acts go up. 9 of them went up. I didn't laugh at one joke. I was just sitting there man, I wish that was me. Man, they should have said this. Every joke they told, I knew the punchline before they said it, and I wrote a better punchline in my mind, what they should have said. It got to guy number 10, they called his name, he wasn't there. So they kept clapping, and I ran up. Long story short, I won amateur night that night. I won $50. It was a 45-minute drive to my house with this girl named Gladys. I cried 45 minutes. She said, "What you crying for? It ain't but $50. I said, No, you don't even understand. I was born tonight. I now know what I'm supposed to do. I went to work the next day, October 9th, and quit my job. I had nothing. I just never gave up. I just kept believing that he was going to put that air up under them sails for me. And finally he put that air up under that wind up under them sails. This ain't your life right here. This life you got right now, this ain't just it. You think this it? God ain't through with you. If God was through with you, he wouldn't wake you up no more. The moment God ain't got nothing else for you, you ain't gonna wake up no more. You lived your last day the day he got nothing. Once you done served your purpose and ran your route, you out. If you do not include God in your life, man, you're making a horrible mistake. You're doing yourself a horrible injustice. You're making this way harder than it's got to be. God really does want to help you. He really does. But he requires that we have a relationship with him. All he wants is a relationship with you. But I'm telling you, if you're trying to make it in this world without God in your life, you're making it way harder than it's got to be. I'm telling you, man, I did it. I did it without him. It does not work. I flunked out of school. I had a severe stuttering problem. I couldn't talk outside my house. I'm on my third marriage. I lost everything I ever owned twice. I've been homeless and lived in a car for 3 years. You can't tell me nothing about what he can't do for you. Nothing. Let me tell you something, man. I've been bottomed out. I'm talking about flat bottomed out. Nothing. I was talking today with my oldest son. He said, man, every time I hear about something you went through, I just go, how did you make it? I just kept his faith. I just kept believing that God didn't bring me this far to leave. I just kept hearing my mama as a Sunday school teacher saying little scriptures to me. It didn't dawn on me till I got older. I'll tell you, man, I didn't get a car in my name till I was 38 years old. I was 38 before I purchased my first car. 38. Come on, man. I lived in a car for 3 years. I had nothing. But I made a decision, man. I just started talking to God every day. I just started asking him for help, to hear me. If you call God and you ask him to hear you, he hears you. Don't let nobody fool you. Come by your house, knock on your door, talk about it ain't no God. You think cause somebody say it ain't no God, you think that make it true? God is real, man. Where you think all this stuff come from? How you think this world got formed? How you really think there's cloud formation? Where you think the waterfall come from? Who made all them animals out there? Who you think make that sun come up every day in the east and set in the west? And it ain't nothing you can do about it. Who do you think make the wind blow? You can't do nothing with the wind. You can't stop time. Who does that? There is a higher power. There is a God. Listen to me. You better get in touch with him. The first way to get focus is to find purpose. The way to find purpose is you must identify what it is that you have to be purposeful in. Right when you are struggling with what to do, who you are, what's your next move, you are in an identity crisis. You are struggling with just who you are. See, you have not discovered who you are. You have to discover who you are in order to move you forward. If no one ever gave you the directions, let me ask you something. When you get up in the morning, you go get in the car or you walk out your door, you have a destination in mind. If you go outside with no destination, what do? You wander around. Once you don't have a destination, you are going to wander around. You cannot get in your car without a destination. What do you drive? So you are in an identity crisis, the same thing I was in. So you have to find your purpose. If you are in this situation, the solution is the first thing. You have to do the thing that God gave you. You just have to identify your gift. That's the first thing. Until you do that, you can forget it. You'll never find your purpose. You'll never know your mission. You'll never know the reason. So I think we're in an identity crisis. I think you have to identify who you are and what your real gift is and pursue the gift.
Don't focus where you are. No, you focus where you are going. Get a vision of that. And you listen to choosing your future. It's possible. And I'm saying to you, as you look at yourself, look at situations that you're facing right now, if anybody at any point in time were evicted, faced a foreclosure, lost their job, their business went under, or a doctor looked at them and said, you're terminal, and they survived, then it's possible that you can survive. It's necessary. See, if you're casual about your dream will end up a casualty. You've got to decide that my dream is a non-negotiable. People that are hungry are relentless. People that are hungry don't take no for an answer. People that are hungry are unstoppable. You got to be hungry. Those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, right thinking, right words, right feelings, right relationships, and right actions shall be filled. Got to be hungry to make it right now. You got to decide. It's necessary that you upgrade your relationships. Give a pink slip to all the negative, toxic, going nowhere people in your life. Give them a pink slip. There's no place for them in your life. I don't take a phone call unless it's positive, unless it's productive, unless it's purposeful, unless it's profitable. It's got to be positive. I don't deal with negative people. They bring too much drama with it. I don't care if it's my children. No, I ain't got time for it. Got to be positive. Your life is not a democracy. It's a dictatorship. People don't get to weigh in and bring drama to you unless you give them permission. It's a dictatorship. You call the shots. Got to be productive. As you look at your life and anybody that's not productive, anybody that's not producing value for you in your life, anybody in your life that's always there when they need you, but when you need something, you can't find them.
Your gift will make room for you, put you in the presence of great men. That's what your gift do. That's God. That ain't Steve. I'm telling you what God said. You ain't got to believe me. I'm just telling you the truth. Your gift is like a tree trunk. Your gift is the trunk of a tree. On a tree, it has many branches. Now, because my gift is comedy, that's my tree trunk. That's what I was made for, the gift. Your two things. Your career is what you paid for. Your calling is what you made for. So God took this tree trunk and made a lot of branches. Comedy made me a movie, a TV star, a radio star, or I can write books. But then what he made me for was to motivate people, to change people's lives by sending me through a process that was so hard for me to overcome. When somebody like you stands up and asks me a question, I know the answer without even thinking, because I've been processed. I've been homeless, so I know exactly what you're feeling.
Life is like an elevator. The higher you go up, you got to stop and let some people off. Let go or be dragged. All right? It's necessary that you do that. And it's necessary that you spend time with you, getting quiet, getting still, without developing yourself, without working on yourself, without letting go toxic, negative people, without a clear vision of what you want to manifest in your life. You don't want to do that. No. So you got to work on you. You got to get quiet. Most of us never achieve our greatness. Most of us even don't know who we are because of weapons of mass distractions. Distracted by foolishness. You got to use your time wisely. It's necessary that you get serious about life, that you put your foot down and say, I'm not going to be poor anymore. I'm not going to stay in a relationship where I'm dying rather than living anymore. I'm not going to be a fat blob anymore. No, I'm not going to be unhealthy anymore. No, I'm not going to be on a job where they pay me just enough to keep me from quitting and I work just hard enough to keep from being fired. No, I'm going to live my calling. I'm not mentally fit to have a job. A job is what you get paid for. A calling is what you're made for. I'm going to do that which God made me to do. I'm going to bet on me. I'm going to take a chance on me. You have something special, but you got to put your foot down to discipline yourself. Keep your word to yourself. Honor yourself. Honor the greatness in yourself. This thing called life is serious. You can't be wishy-washy. Becoming successful is a slow process. Developing your greatness is a slow process. But quitting doesn't make it faster. You got to decide. It's necessary that you put your foot down. You said, no, I'm not quitting. I don't care how many no's I get, how many rejections I get. I don't care how many people tell me I can't do it.
There's always someone who's dealing with something more hurtful than you, deeper than you, in a situation that's worse than yours. But we only feel our pain, our hurt. We all are dealing with something different every single day. And you feel your pain is worse than someone else's pain because it's real to you in your life. But there's something I want to tell you today. I don't know why you lost your job. I don't know why your child died. I don't know why you lost your home. I don't know why your marriage failed. I don't know why you lost everything. But what I can tell you is that if you don't give up, if you keep fighting, if you keep pressing, if you keep stepping one foot in front of the other, no matter what it takes, no matter how hard it hurts right now, you press through. You keep running. You keep getting up. You get knocked down, get up again. This thing that we call life is not easy. Every single day can be hard, but it's all in your mindset. You can look at it as being hard, or you can look at it as being a challenge. Any challenge you can overcome, but anything that you look at as failure can keep you down. There's no way to be successful.
Develop a plan of action to be here. Create an agenda for your life. I have an agenda for my life before I go to sleep at night. What I want to get out of the day. The average person is just trying to get through the day. Before you lay your head down, make sure you know something tonight that you didn't know yesterday. And write out what it is you want to achieve tomorrow. It's necessary that you get serious, that you put your foot down, and that you kick your own behind. You got to look at you and hold yourself accountable, because wherever you find yourself at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. You're made in the likeness and image of God. You've been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. And you will never exercise authority and dominion over your life until you exercise authority and dominion over what you are not. We should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. You know how many people die every day, and 2 weeks later there are no conversations about them because their lives were so inconsequential? Don't you judge yourself based upon your circumstances. Don't you judge yourself based upon what you have lost. Don't ever say, oh, I have lost everything. That's a bold-faced lie. The fact that you can say it, I've lost everything, that's a lie. People who've lost everything can't talk. People who've lost everything are in the cemetery taking a dirt nap. You are still here because of God's grace and mercy. And if you created it once, you can create it again.
So I don't know and I don't care what you're going through right now. Because that's exactly what it is. You're just going through it right now. But you're going to get over it. You're going to overcome it. You're going to be stronger after this. So don't just focus on what you're dealing with or going through right now. Because this moment, this obstacle, it's going to push you. It's going to raise you to another level that you've never seen yourself at before. And once you get there, you'll be able to tell the next person what you went through, what you had to go through. But you survived. You came out better the other side. Whenever you're down, there's always a way up. But you have to see it and you have to know that you can accomplish any and everything that's put in front of you.
You have control of this. This belongs to you. This is yours. You're the captain. You're the master. You're the foreman. You're the general. You're the head. Don't give control of this to nobody, especially the devil. Do not let Satan come in here and function and operate, because he has one mission: to keep you off course, to make you not think it's possible, to make you think that God don't hear you. His job is only to destroy you, to make sure that you don't become what God intended for you to become. That's the mission of the devil. Now, if you don't believe in the devil, this conversation ain't for you. If you don't believe in God, this conversation ain't for you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people who are spiritually based. I've only read the book of Proverbs. I've read some scriptures every now and then. I only know 5 or 6 scriptures by heart. I'm just going to be real with you. But I've memorized them 5 or 6 scriptures. And them 5 or 6 got me here today. They memorized it, but they didn't apply it. I have applied 6 scriptures to change my life. But these books that I told you about, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale and The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, you know what it does? It just teaches you how this works. Once you get this, y'all, you can change everything. Negativity, you can protect yourself from negativity. And that's what stops most people, negative thoughts. You can coat your mind from negativity. It's a real simple exercise to do. I do it every morning before I walk out the door. So I walk out as a positive person. You know, I get tired sometimes. That's different from being negative, because I get mentally drained from my job at times. But to coat your mind from negativity, the way you can put a coating around your mind is with one simple thing: gratitude. Gratitude erases negativity. I'm going to show you how this works. If you wake up in the morning and you start having negative thoughts, man, this ain't my day. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm tripping. I just don't feel myself. Every time you feel in the middle of the day, if you feel yourself doing that, stop. Just stop for a second and start going over in your mind everything you have to be grateful for. Not everything you want, everything you already have, because what you have is substantial. You just haven't gone over the list and taken inventory in a long time. But the fact that you can walk, that's a blessing. The fact that you woke up, that's another blessing. The fact that you can see, think, reason, that's another blessing. The fact that you can go somewhere and get yourself something to eat, that's another blessing. The fact that you can go and turn the key and call someplace home, that's another blessing. The ability to dream is a blessing. The fact that you have an opportunity to get it right is another blessing. The fact that you're beautiful, that's another blessing. The fact that you have any measure of health, that's another blessing. And I'm just talking to you, I don't even know you. I could give you 50 things you ought to be grateful for right now. I don't even know you. Start coating your mind with gratitude. It'll change everything for you.
Give and grow. I had to let that luggage go. You see, your mind is, when you go into a service station to get gas, you don't go in there and just start pumping. When you push the lever up, it clears the previous bill. By the same token, if you want to begin to move, you've got to clear your mind of all the unnecessary luggage and baggage that's weighing us down. I couldn't move. I couldn't think about what am I going to do to get out of this situation because I was so concerned about what happened and what he did to me and how bad it was. I was so stuck in that I couldn't even focus on what I should have done. Feeling sorry for myself and angry, and none of that was taking me anywhere. So pretty soon I learned through effort, made a conscious, deliberate, determined effort. I had to let it go. I had to forgive it. Let it go and begin to focus on developing myself. And I say to you, you're going to have people to do things to you. Things are going to happen to you. And the most important thing to do is to harness your will and let it go and move so you can grow, so you can get on with your life. It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do now, Les? How long are you going to repeat the same thing over and over and over and over and over again? How many times do we have to hear that? Don't go around telling people what your story is. Everybody has a story. 80% don't care and 20% glad it's you. All of us have experienced some tragedy, and if we haven't, we will. And you can either let it destroy your life or you can build upon it. You can permit it to let it hold you down, or you can decide, I'm not going to let that happen to me. I'm bigger than this. Make a declaration to yourself. Declare all out war that you're going to get out of this rut. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how much you work on yourself. There are some times when things aren't going to go right. They just are not going to go right. There are times when anything that can happen will happen. Murphy's Law will be knocking at your door. Why? I don't know why. That's called life. I suggest to you that if you are facing a challenge, don't stop. Stay busy. Work your plan. Continue to do those things that you know that work for you after you have evaluated yourself in the situation. Continue to move. Stay busy, stay busy, stay busy. Find somebody that you can help so you can forget about you for a moment. See, sometimes the best thing to do is to be. Sometimes you have to just back up and go within yourself. A bow and arrow. You can't take a bow and just push it out an arrow. You just can't push the arrow out. You have to pull it back and then release it. Sometimes you have to back up and go within and pray and meditate and recharge your batteries. Go away, clear your head, and then come back and look at it from a different vantage point. Don't operate while you are under the spell or the effect of what's going on. Next thing is that you've got to activate the thinker in you. Don't allow your emotions to control you. We are emotional, but you want to begin to discipline your emotion. If you don't discipline and contain your emotions, they will use you.
Some people let the past pull them back. The past can be like gravity if you let it to pull you back. Not just to think about it to get advice from mistakes to carry on for the future. But some people live in the past. They live in the darkness of the past. They live in the mistakes of the past. They live in the discouragement of the past. They didn't make it, and that affects them for the rest of their life, living in the past. So we don't want the future, the past to pull us back, to live in the past. And all other kinds of things that affect us. It's going to affect us to some extent, but not to the extent that we should be affected by the future. So make this note. Dreams and goals can become magnets. And the stronger the goal, the higher the purpose, the more powerful the objective, the stronger this magnet is that pulls you that direction. Now, not only does your goals and your objectives pull you that direction, here's what they also do. They pull you through. They pull you through all kinds of down days. They pull you through a difficult time. It'll pull you through some winter of your life. Some people get lost in the confusion of the day simply because their goal is not bright enough to pull them through. Faith is the ability to see things that don't yet exist. And that's how things exist. How did this hotel get here? Someone saw it while the property was vacant. You say, well, is it possible to see this hotel when it isn't here? And the answer is yes, of course. If somebody cannot see it when it is not here, then it will never be here. So it's possible to see things that don't yet exist. It's possible to finish something before you start. In fact, it would be a bit foolish to start until you had it finished. So human beings have this remarkable ability to finish something and then start. So it's possible to see the end and then begin. So here's what we want to do in our goal setting session, is to start looking into the future of what you would like to accomplish and where you would like to go, the person you would like to be, and see if you can't get a better picture of the finished objective. See yourself there. See yourself in possession of. Decide what you want and then act as if you already had it. Decide what you want and act as if it was already yours. Now, the reason we can act thinking that it's already ours is because not only can we vision the end results, we can also vision the beginning of making it real.
You know, weeds don't have to have any encouragement to grow. You don't have to water them. They don't have to get sunshine. They don't have to have fertile ground. They will grow through the cracks of a sidewalk. But if you want to grow orchids or roses or any kind of exotic flowers, there are special processes and procedures you must go through. Well, by the same token, you don't have to force yourself or motivate yourself to think negatively, to be depressed, to hate somebody, to want revenge, to want to get back at somebody, to beat yourself up over the head, to feel loaded with guilt. You don't have to make any effort to do that. Your mind is on automatic. It will do that by itself. But if you want to begin to move into your own personal greatness, if you want to begin to really enjoy a happy, successful, healthy life, you've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will and say, in spite of this, I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back. And I'll be stronger and better because of it. You have got to make a declaration that this is what you stand for. You're standing up for your dreams. You're standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. You want it. And you're going to go all out to have it. It's not going to be easy. When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out. So yes, I'm going to turn this situation around. I'm not going to sit back and moan and cry over what happened and what went wrong and who did what. I'm going to do something about this situation.